What do you do with that?
So now, a lot of people have asked why we're not using one of these. The reason was previously we only had it's still what I would deem a large compressor, but not anything that could run a tool like this. So now that Colby was kind enough to loan us his big gas-powered compressor, we do have that capability to be able to go through and do this. Hopefully, that's going to help in areas like this, big flat panels, get that finish that we're looking for. So that will be the fun for tomorrow, is playing around with this. Rickman.
One very easy project we've been holding off on for a long time is glassing in the bulkhead on the outboard side of our galley. This is because we didn't know how we wanted to space out any of the cupboards or drawers, which items were going to be placed to where, and how much space we needed to dedicate to them. One of the biggest items being a convection oven. Knowing that we wanted it to be tucked away instead of sitting on the counter, we had to wait until we knew which one we were getting before designing a space to fit it. But now that we have the model in hand and have also picked out the sink which will drop in on the side, we can take the next steps to fitting out the galley.
Jess is doing a really, really good job fairing and getting everything all prepped. I have been fired from that job because I am horrible at applying the fairing compound and actually even worse at sanding. Somehow I have zero finesse with it. It's either I'm insanely aggressive and sand right straight through all the work that she just did, or I really don't do anything. So I am moving on to different projects while she's working away at that. Right now, kind of just making quick little, these are drawer boxes, and we've designed this so there's only three drawers in here. We're gonna have two in this part of the galley. Again, there's crap everywhere, but get an idea, tool storage, and then the big long one that's that area. Everything else is just going to be normal cabinetry, so it makes my life a heck of a lot easier. Had I had more drawers in this design, we would have gone with more of a conventional drawer box instead of doing it in this foam core, which it's a time thing. It's fairly labor intensive. What I found out, and I've done the math on this previously, but when we start talking about plywood versus foam core, there's a point where there's diminishing value with going with foam core. It's because of the weight. Once we start getting into pieces like this, strips like this, where I still have to go through and backfill and fill in the edges, I need to glass it in place instead of just gluing it like I could do with plywood. Quite frankly, there really isn't a huge difference in box weight. So I could do this in plywood, but I figure we're not using plywood anywhere else on the boat, and it would kind of drive me insane having these three things in that. So I might as well go and do it since it's only three that I have to do. process of giving Georgie the VIP spa treatment for her bathroom. This is our big hanging locker. We had debated, there's been so many different discussions that we've had as to what would be the best location for Georgie's litter box. We want something that she has access to because a lot of times we plan on closing off the hall to keep it cool if we have air conditioning or heating running. But we wanted her to still be able to access that because she sleeps with us, of course. What ended up being the best location that had the floor space for her and all that kind of stuff for her litter box was actually in this closet. Okay, so I know it's a really strange thing having the litter box around where all your clothes are going to be, so we've got to work around that and kind of come up with a solution that we're not going to put on a t-shirt and everyone's going to run away because we smell like cat pee. What is going to happen is, oh, I shouldn't have touched that because that was wet. So she's going to have access to it from on the stairs. I have not cut that opening yet, but that's location is going to be right around the corner here. And then she'll have access into this area. The plan is to have a carbon air filter that is going to pull the air from in this and suck it down through here and out this kick panel. So we won't have the smell, she won't have the smell sitting in there. And the way that we prevent, let me go grab it. So this will be, the door will close over the top of this whole area, the regular cabinet door, but of course that would still get smells through everything that's in here. So what we're doing is, I got an actual hatch that plops right into here. So there's a watertight, airtight hatch that will be sitting actually on this. It's still enough room that when we open it up, we have access to the litter box. We can put it in and out. We can put fresh litter in there, that kind of stuff. But it's going to prevent any odors from escaping and getting on our clothes, hopefully. And then with that carbon air filter, it will blow that all out and keep that nice and clean for her. This window and kind of making the frame pretty has been a little bit more of a challenge than what we anticipated. Kind of coming to the conclusion that it's easier to do the upper area, make this, the frame side of it, kind of flat, and then I can cove up to that line. So it's a little bit different of a process. What I did last night was go in and just overfill all of this area. And now what I can do is trace my cut line, use our little compass to get our corners, kind of put those radius in, cut back to that, and then hopefully that's going to give me a nice smooth edge that I can run my little trowel along and get a nice edge along this bulkhead. It's kind of just working in steps to try to improve what's already there and get it something that's going to be look good.
Got the white knuckles holding on it tight, keeping your feet.
Right, so I may change this because it's going past. You might be able to see that darkened line there. That is the old radius for the fiberglass ends. I already extended it out fairly large to give it an area to cove. I may end up pushing that back a little bit, which might need adjusting one of these lines. I did the same thing with these as well, so I might be able to drop this corner in just a bit more to be able to adjust where that line goes. That's gonna need some work. Okay, very rough at this point. Gonna go back with the sander and hopefully straighten up these edges until my little pencil line, round that corner, and then hopefully that's gonna be, oh, I forgot that whole side too. Once I go back and bring it back to this and get a nice flush edge on this side, Then I can take that tool and run it along there and hopefully get our nice coves in one pass.
You got the white knuckles holding on the tie, keeping your feelings bottled up inside. Heading for collision in the night. To really live, you gotta die. Breathe in, breathe out. Hey, come alive. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at the colors, colors, colors. Right. Moments pass, make this one count. Untie.
So every day we've been working, or I should say Matt has been working a little bit closer to finishing off the edges here, just kind of making sure as well that the top surfaces are smoothed out, but just kind of like coving it, shaping it, and making sure that when we do go to paint it, it's a nice transition between the wall and the mold for the window. Instead of going to work in the tent this morning, Matt and I are about to take a little field trip because we are finally going to pick out the hardwood and veneers that are going to be inside of our boat. We have some ideas based on, going through other boats at boat shows of what we want to do, but I think today we're going to make a decision and actually come home with some wood to start trims. Matt's first time off the island in like a week and a half.
No,
we did stay on the island because we went for sushi. So
Yeah, I haven't been off the island in
3 weeks.
yeah.
Oh, okay. All the way down the way. Straight to the warehouse, all the way down, over to your left.
It smells so good in here. Look at all this wood. So I can't remember who told us about this place, but we're at Exotic Woods just across the Bay Bridge, and they have so many beautiful pieces here, like especially these dark woods, rosewoods, cherry. Makes me wish that we were back on the aluminum boat where weight didn't matter and we could just outfit the boat in these wisdom wood overhead, everything. But as it stands, of course, weight matters. We're not going to get our veneers from here, but we're looking at hardwood for the trims. So rift cut white oak is what we're looking for now, and just going to take a couple pieces home with us and start those trims out. So what are you looking for exactly? What we were trying to find in this pile of mixed wood is rift cut white oak, which is cut with the grains intersecting the face of the board at 30 to 60 degrees. It is less prone to warping and twisting and is the best cut for cabinetry. Within all of these pieces of wood here, we are trying to find the rift cut. They have to mix their quarter saw, which is like a little more flaky, and also the rift cut. So we're trying to find it right now, and I don't know if it's buried at the bottom, but we're having quite the task of it. Johnson, we may be out of luck. They said that it would be noticeable if it's rift cut because it would be smooth. Somebody may have come through and taken it all. They said they really don't know how much they have. Well, that is a bummer. We sifted through like 60 or 70 pieces of wood and there was nothing that really looked rift cut to us. Everything looked quarter sawn. So unfortunately, this is like the only place around. It's not like there's anything else even within 30, 60 miles. So now I think we're gonna have to order it online and wait for it to come, which is a bummer. We really wanted to start on this project right away. We're like at that point right now, but yeah. we're spending this much time and effort into the boat, we're not gonna get wood that doesn't fit.